All right, so are you ready to dive into something pretty wild? Like, how about getting paid to learn all about AI?
Getting paid to learn. That sounds like a dream come true.
I know, right? Well, apparently it's becoming a reality. We're looking at this press release all about the EON AI Income Academy. They're launching it in India.
Interesting. Is this like a school or a training program? What is it exactly?
You can think of it like that, a training program where you can earn while you learn. Kind of like a crash course in AI, but with a really cool twist.
So you're telling me I can learn about AI and make money at the same time? I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
That's exactly what they're proposing. And it's not some small experiment either. We're talking large scale. India's planning to train a massive amount of people with
Oh, they're really going all in on this. How many people are we talking?
over 130,000 people per state.
130,000 per state. That's huge. Why are they investing so much in this?
Well, the press release says India's AI sector is going to absolutely explode. They're projecting a $500 billion market and 20 million jobs by 2025.
Those are some big numbers. But doesn't increased AI also mean potential job losses due to automation?
That's the catch. Millions of jobs could also be disrupted by automation.
So this academy is trying to, preemptively address that issue by giving people the skills for these new AI jobs.
You got it. It's almost like they're saying, hey, AI is coming whether we want it to or not. So we better be ready.
It's better to be prepared than left behind, I guess. So what does this academy actually involve? What's the structure like?
Okay, so it's a 9-month program. But get this, it's not just your typical classroom setup. They split it up into 2 phases.
2 phases. How does that work?
So first you've got 1 month of really intense online training. Think of it like building the foundation. And then after that,
And then? Don't leave me hanging.
well, then comes the super cool part. 8 months of hands-on project development.
So they don't just teach theory, they actually get people building real AI applications. That's fantastic.
Exactly. And hold on, it gets even better. They can actually sell the applications they build.
So they can generate income while they're still in the program. That's amazing. Talk about learning by doing.
Right. What an awesome way to tackle the skills gap. Empowering people to become creators of AI, not just consumers.
I'm sold. This sounds great. But can we dig a little deeper into the technology they're using? Because I'm guessing it's not just basic online courses.
Oh, definitely not. They're using all sorts of cutting-edge AI tools and immersive technology. Stuff like AR and VR.
Really? Wow. That's seriously next level. What caught your eye specifically?
For me, it was a combination of all that. AI programming assistants like OpenAI Codex and those immersive technologies. I mean, imagine learning about AI by actually stepping into a virtual world and interacting with it.
Okay, yeah, that's way more engaging than just reading a textbook. Plus, I bet those AI programming assistants are a game changer for students.
Absolutely. They act like your own personal AI tutor, helping you write code and even explaining complex concepts in an easy-to-understand way.
That sounds incredibly helpful. But all this fancy tech makes me wonder, how accessible is this program? Can everyone in India, especially those in rural areas, actually benefit from it?
You bring up a great point. The digital divide is definitely a big challenge, but they seem to be taking steps to make sure everyone has a chance to participate.
So they're thinking about the people who don't have access to the internet. What kind of solutions are they proposing?
Well, first of all, they're working on expanding internet access and improving infrastructure by partnering with local organizations and government agencies.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the people who still won't have reliable internet?
Well, for them, they're developing offline resources and mobile-friendly versions of the platform. And they're even exploring mobile learning labs, so they're trying to cover all their bases.
It's great to hear they're really committed to inclusivity. It's one thing to create amazing technology, but it's another thing to make sure everyone can actually use it.
Okay. Well said. So they're taking accessibility seriously, but I do wonder if they're focusing too much on the high-tech side of things. Are they maybe overlooking the human element a little? After all, AI is just a tool, right? It can't replace everything.
That's an insightful question. We often get so caught up in the technology that we forget about the human aspect. It's human ingenuity and creativity that really drives innovation.
Exactly. So how does the Academy make sure they're not just creating technically skilled coders, but also nurturing those essential human qualities?
Well, they've got a pretty strong emphasis on community-based mentorship. Each student gets paired with a mentor who can provide guidance and support throughout the program.
So it's about more than just technical skills. It's also about developing soft skills, like communication and critical thinking.
Precisely. It's a more holistic approach that understands you need both technical and human skills to thrive in a world where AI is becoming more prevalent.
It seems like they've thought this through pretty well. But I'm really curious to see how this program is playing out in the real world. What are people actually creating with their AI skills?
You and me both. Let's dive into some of the applications being developed and see how they're actually changing lives in India.
Welcome back. Last time we were talking about how cool this AI Academy in India is and how they're combining education with income generation. It's pretty amazing. But now I'm really curious to hear more about the actual tech they're using. What makes their learning tools so special?
Well, they've gone way beyond your typical online courses, like way beyond. Instead of just watching videos, you're actually immersed in these interactive 3D environments. You can experience AI concepts firsthand.
That sounds pretty futuristic. Is that where EON XR comes in? I know I read about that, but honestly, I'm still a little fuzzy on what it actually does.
Yeah, EON XR is a big part of their approach. It lets them create these really realistic simulations and demonstrations. It's like you're stepping into a virtual world, but this world is designed for learning.
Okay, so how does that actually work? Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine you're learning about how an AI algorithm identifies patterns in data. Pretty complex stuff, right?
Definitely. It's one of those things that can get pretty abstract and confusing really quickly. At least for me, anyway.
Well, exactly. But instead of just staring at a bunch of numbers on a screen, what if you could actually see that data visualized in 3D? You could be in this virtual environment and actually manipulate the data points yourself and see how the algorithm reacts in real time. Pretty neat, huh?
Wow. Yeah, that's so much more engaging than just reading about it, turning abstract concepts into something you can really grasp, both literally and figuratively.
Right. And that's just one example. They can use EON XR to simulate all kinds of real-world scenarios. Like they can show how an AI-powered robot might navigate a warehouse, or how a self-driving car makes decisions. So many possibilities.
That's incredible. Okay, so we've talked about the immersive learning environments, but what about the actual coding part? Is that where the AI programming assistants come in?
You got it. They've integrated tools like OpenAI Codex right into the learning process. Think of them as your super smart coding buddies, always there to help.
Okay, I like that. So if I'm a student and I get stuck on a coding problem,
Codex can jump in and offer suggestions or even complete lines of code for you.
Yeah.
It can even explain why a certain approach isn't working. So it's almost like having an expert coder looking over your shoulder, ready to help whenever you need it.
that's amazing. I bet that takes a lot of the pressure off, especially for beginners. Coding can be pretty intimidating if you're just starting out. But all this high-tech stuff makes me wonder, how accessible is all of this really? Can everyone in India, especially in rural areas, actually use this technology?
That's a really important question, and it's something that they're definitely trying to address. The digital divide is a real challenge, especially in a country as large and diverse as India.
So how are they making sure everyone has a chance to participate? What are they doing to reach people who might not have the latest gadgets or even reliable internet access?
Well, they're doing a few things. First, they're partnering with local organizations and government agencies to try and expand internet access and improve infrastructure.
Makes sense. But what about the people who still don't have reliable internet?
Well, for those people, they're developing offline resources, and they're also creating mobile-friendly versions of the platform so people can access it on their phones even if they don't have a computer. And they're even exploring things like mobile learning labs, you know, those vans that are kind of like classrooms on wheels.
Wow, they're really going all out. It sounds like they're really committed to making this program inclusive. It's great that they're not just focused on creating the technology, but also on making sure everyone can actually use it.
Absolutely. But you know, with all this focus on cutting-edge technology, I do wonder if there's a risk of overlooking the human element. Like, AI is great, but it can't replace everything, right?
That's a good point. We can get so caught up in all the bells and whistles that we forget that technology is just a tool. It's human ingenuity and creativity that really drive innovation.
Exactly. So how does the academy make sure they're not just churning out technically proficient coders, but that they're also fostering those essential human qualities?
That's what I want to know. How are they incorporating the human element?
Well, one of the key things they're doing is emphasizing community-based mentorship. Each student gets paired with a mentor who can provide guidance and support throughout the program. And it's not just about technical skills. It's about developing soft skills like communication, collaboration, and critical thinking.
Ah, so it's a more holistic approach. They're trying to prepare students for the real world. not just for a specific job.
Yeah, exactly. They recognize that you need both technical and human skills to thrive in a world where AI is becoming more and more prevalent. And that's one of the things that makes this program so promising. It's not just about filling jobs, it's about empowering individuals.
Well, they've definitely set the bar high.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to see a program like this. But I'm ready to move on to the real-world impact of all of this. I want to hear about the actual applications being developed and how they're changing lives. Ready to dive into those?
Absolutely. Let's see what kind of impact this program is having on the ground.
Welcome back. We spent a lot of time talking about this AI Academy, how it works, the tech behind it. But now it's time to talk results. Like, what are people actually doing with all this AI knowledge? What kind of impact is it having?
Well, the press release gives us some pretty awesome examples. Imagine an app developed by a student in a rural village that uses AI to diagnose crop diseases, like right there in the field.
That's amazing. So a farmer could just snap a photo of their crops and boom, they know it's wrong.
Exactly. And that's huge for farmers who might not have easy access to agricultural experts. It's all about empowering people to solve problems in their own communities.
I love that. Using AI to make a real difference in people's lives. It's not just some abstract concept. It's having a tangible impact.
Absolutely. Another cool example is those regional language chatbots.
Oh, yeah, those are awesome. I remember reading about those. They can help small businesses who maybe can't afford big customer service teams, right?
Yep. The chatbots can handle basic questions and requests in all sorts of languages, making sure those businesses can reach a wider audience.
It's like AI is helping level the playing field, making technology more inclusive and accessible for everyone. But it's not just individual success stories, is it? This whole initiative could reshape India's entire economy.
You're thinking big picture. And you're right. Think about it. India's trying to position itself as a global AI hub. Training a massive workforce in AI creates a whole talent pool that can attract investment, drive innovation, and boost their economy.
So it's not just about filling existing jobs, it's about creating a whole new industry, right?
Right. And the focus on entrepreneurship at the Academy is really important here. They're not just training people to work for other companies, they're encouraging them to start their own AI-driven businesses.
So we could be seeing a wave of AI startups coming out of this program, creating even more jobs and opportunities. It's like this ripple effect.
Exactly. But of course, with all this talk about AI and its potential, we can't ignore the potential downsides. We need to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, job displacement. As much as AI creates new opportunities, some jobs could become automated, right? So could this program end up inadvertently putting people out of work, even as it helps others?
That's a valid concern. And it highlights why lifelong learning is so important. Even with AI becoming more common, there will still be demand for human skills. But those skills will need to evolve.
So it's not a learn it once and you're good kind of situation. We need to constantly adapt and keep learning new things to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And that requires a change in mindset, both from individuals and from policymakers. We need to invest in education and training that prepare people for those jobs of the future.
And we need to create safety nets for people whose jobs are impacted by automation. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions.
Definitely. But at the end of the day, the EON AI Income Academy is a really impressive example of how we can use technology to create positive change and empower people. It's a story of human ingenuity and a reminder that we have the power to shape the future of AI. It's up to us to make sure that future benefits everyone.
It really has been an incredible journey diving deep into this program, from the innovative learning techniques to the potential for economic transformation. The EON AI Income Academy is clearly doing some really important work.
It definitely gives us a lot to think about. How do we prepare for a future where AI is woven into every aspect of our lives? How do we ensure the benefits of AI are shared by everyone, not just a select few?
These are questions we'll continue to explore as AI continues to evolve. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the EON AI Income Academy. We hope you're leaving feeling inspired and curious about the power of AI to change the world for the better.